So in this two-part demo, we will show you how Halcyon with our agent and our cloud-based platform complement or actually enhances the capabilities of Defender or any other EDR out there, be it CrowdStrike or SentinelOne or Sophos or any of the EDRs that are very popular and also very effective in what they do. But most of these technologies have weaknesses that can be relatively easily exploited, which is one of the things that I will show in this demo as well. The machine here is a straightforward Windows client. It has Defender up and running. Defender is working. I will show you that in a minute as well. And on the left side you see the graphical representation of the events that are taking place on the Halcyon agent to give you some confirmed visibility of where the Defender solution stops and where the Halcyon agent picks it up, and vice versa. So to show you that Defender is actually quite operational, I will go to the network drive here, which has a multitude of ransomware samples. And if I, for instance, go to the Conti, which is a very well-known piece of ransomware, you will see that immediately Microsoft Defender has an opinion about this and eliminates this threat and flags it as a dangerous location. So any further actions like dragging the file to the desktop naturally are being prevented by Defender, just like you want it to. But as I alluded, there are relatively simple ways of bypassing any EDR, including Defender, but also others of the major brands. They have a weakness that can be exploited by a concept of bring your own vulnerable driver. So to show you how easy that is, there is a quick tool that is used in the community quite frequently, which is called Sandblast. And it basically does a few things. It loads a vulnerable driver, and that vulnerable driver and then subsequently helps the Sandblast tool to unhook the EDR, in this case Microsoft Defender, from its location in the kernel, making it effectively blind to any events on that system. So let me execute that, and you will see some activity also happening at that moment in time in the Halcyon log. As soon as I load that tool, which will operate in a command execution, you will see that the tool attempts to and loads a bunch of vulnerable drivers. And this is something that Halcyon is continuously monitoring and adding to its database of all the known vulnerable drivers that are either used by ransomware groups or are just generally flagged as vulnerable, to make sure that we stay on top of these things. And this is a constant process that we have an entire team for that does that on a 24/7 basis. Now remember, I went to the Conti folder here in the ransomware samples. If I go there again, it won't flag anything. Actually, it even allows me to load the pictograms or the icons or the files that are typically not showing when Defender kicks in. And it also applies to other ransomware samples. Let's say the WannaCry sample. It normally should flag when I go into that folder, and it should also definitely prevent this from happening. But as you can see, it is being allowed to move to the desktop. Better yet, or worse yet if you will, if I execute it, the EDR still is not picking up on this. But as you can see in the bottom right corner, the Halcyon agent has blocked the process and it has deemed it nefarious, because the policy to the system at this moment in time is set to an active blocking policy. And we have seen activity by this process. Most commonly, what we flag on in this case is the first step that WannaCry does, which is to delete your volume shadow copies. We've detected that there's nefarious activity, and we are blocking that executable based on that. But as you can see, all the while the EDR seemed perfectly fine in operating. Now if I go back and I go and kill the Sandblast tool, basically unloading the vulnerable drivers again, and if I then reload this folder, as you can see, instantly it kicks back into defending itself. But during that period of time, the Defender was completely blind and I cannot rely on it. But as you can see, right now it is all working again. One of the other things that Halcyon also helps is something that is very common these days in ransomware attacks, which is not only the encryption of your data or anything like that, but there is a trend going that means double extortion or even triple extortion. We may be able to get to that in a bit as well, but by means of which the ransomware group encrypts the data that is really near and dear to your heart, but before doing so, it leaks or extracts or exfiltrates the data from your infrastructure. So to that end, we have built several capabilities in our platform to stop that from happening and to detect that. As you can see, this little executable, which is trying to upload data to Mega, is being stopped and detected by the data exfiltration based on the bad peer. There is no real business reason or logical reason that any enterprise or any person that has no malicious intent to say uploads data to Mega. It is very, very commonly used by malicious actors to dump their files before they completely make them go away, and they hold them ransom in their infrastructure. Typically, this is the first step of a ransomware attack once the ransomware group has made access to it and has been able to load the vulnerable drivers and avoid the EDRs, etc., etc., etc. The reason the Halcyon agent is not susceptible at this moment in time to things like the bring your own vulnerable driver attack or the sideloading of DLLs or any of the other common principles is because we operate at a fundamentally different level in the operating system. And we have a different way of approaching the entire problem of ransomware. So as the next part of this demo, what I will show you is when we move this machine into a monitoring policy on the Halcyon side, I will be able to actually show you how the recovery would work of the encrypted data when a threat actor is able to actually execute the encryption payload, and how we can quickly recover that. So let me get moving to that one. I will use the same system, but I will change the policy on the Halcyon agent to be in a monitoring mode so it doesn't block the actual ransomware like it normally should do in most cases. But I'm trying to simulate the eventuality of a ransomware attack, bypassing even our defenses and our detection logic, and show you that last line of defense that we've built into the product that allows you to really quickly decrypt data that has been fallen victim to a ransomware attack. So, and I've shown you how we act as a second line of defense, if you will, for your already deployed EDR. Whether this was Microsoft EDR or any of the other big brands out there, they are all susceptible to the same level of bypasses, predominantly the bring your own vulnerable drivers or sideloading of DLLs, and there's a multitude of bypass capabilities for the EDRs. But Halcyon is built differently. It is operating at a different layer in the operating system, and this is why we have the ability to even stop those processes from executing even when your EDR is being bypassed, as I have shown you. Now, the EDR is completely up and running again. Let me quickly show you that as well by going to, I think we went to the Conti folder. As you can see, it instantly reacts to the action of even opening the folder, let alone executing files in it. But as I promised I would show you was the ability to decrypt encrypted files after a ransomware attack. And this is how Halcyon provides that other layer of ransomware resilience. When it inevitably will go wrong at a certain point in time, because ransomware is a developing and growing ecosystem as well, the Halcyon solution was built in the assumption that things will fail. And to that end, we are closely monitoring all kinds of cryptographic processes in the operating system, and we are extracting key materials where we can to be sure to have a backup key of a symmetric encryption event that is used during a ransomware attack. Now what I've done here is I have loaded the Dragon Force ransomware on the system. Let me go to the actual folder where this lives, and on the right side you've seen this open for a while now is the documents folder. So let me open up this PDF to show you that there is no funny business. It is a perfectly readable but slightly boring file, but it is readable and processable. Now, the second that I will actually detonate the Dragon Force encryption process is the moment where these files will become unreadable. Let me encrypt that folder, and you will see a few things happen on the system in the Halcyon agent log, but most certainly also in the documents folder itself. So let me execute that payload. Oh, yeah, that's the one. So you actually see the agent of Halcyon picking up on this process. But again, this machine has indeed now been switched to a monitor mode policy, and I can show you that here, where it says the policy mode is to be report. Let me make it a little bit easier to read. This is the policy mode report process. So whilst we did actually detect the ransomware, because of the way that I configured the policy just now, it was set to no longer block these events from happening. So what happened is the entire documents folder got encrypted. I can't even really see anymore which file was which, but what I can see is that a ransomware node has been placed, which is so typical for any ransomware attack. And it basically tells you to start crying or pay up their Bitcoins or Ethereum or whatever their cryptocurrency of choice is. Now, that's obviously a choice that you can make to actually pay them, but remember, you had the Halcyon agent on this system, so we have captured the key material here. We've captured a bunch of key generation processes, and we have securely stored this in a small little database, in this particular instance on this machine. But in a normal production environment, we would most certainly offload that to our Atlas cloud, which runs in different locations in the world. For Europe, we have an instance just around the corner in Frankfurt in Germany, where these keys will be held safely. Why do we do that? Two reasons. Obviously, you are under attack. We can't really trust your systems. And secondly, this will help our ransomware operations center team, which is a team of professionals that handle ransomware attacks on a daily basis, to help your incident response team make sure that side by side we make sure that your systems are safe. We isolate them, or we make sure that the ransomware group is evicted. In any way, shape or form, we make sure that the machines are trustworthy again. And that is also the moment where we will start to make sure that we can help you decrypt the information. Now, we've seen most, if not all, ransomware strains by now in our existence, but even if there is a bespoke piece of ransomware that is written, we will be there for you, and we will make sure that you get a decryptor. We will write it for you, we will test it for you, and we will use the Halcyon agent to distribute that decryptor to your systems. So as part of the offering that you're buying, this is included. It's not optional. This is how we believe we can help you be more ransomware resilient. Now, in order for me to actually execute that, I need to execute the decryptor, and if it's all going according to plan, it is in my copy buffer. So I have executed the command line to decrypt the data in the from this database folder in the documents folder, and instantly, the second I execute that, you see that the files are coming back to a normal readable format. And as you can see, they are indeed readable again. There is no funny business going on here. We do that by extracting the keys and by making sure that we use those keys to decrypt these files. And again, no ransom has been paid at this moment in time. And this is how we can and will help you recover really, really quickly, even when a ransomware attack was seemingly successful and your files have been encrypted. And this is, I cannot stress this enough, part of the standard offering that Halcyon has for its customers. It's not only the technology, it is most certainly also the services that we offer as part of that technology with our experts in our ransomware operations center. I hope this kind of shines a light on the capabilities that the Halcyon agent has to offer. And if there are any more questions, I remain available to answer them.